Welcome to the 15th podcast of CIPS MENA Procurement Master Talk Show. Today we are joined from Moscow by Project Management and Supply Chain star. She is Dr. Liudmila Prozorova, founder of Apex International Consultancy. Dr. Liudmila is based in UAE but practices worldwide. Welcome to the talk show, Dr. Liudmila. I'm your host, Lalit Dhamija, Executive Chair of Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply, UAE branch committees, in a volunteer role in UAE since 2009. I'm a procurement and supply chain management trainer and solutions provider. Over the past 40 years, I have worked with CEOs, CPOs, and trained thousands of executives, managers, and project leaders from Fortune 500 and multinational companies worldwide. We will discuss with Dr. Liudmila various aspects of project management, procurement, and supply chain issues, and also try to know her better as an individual and as a professional. Key learnings would be summarized at end of the podcast. Dr. Liudmila Prozorova is project management and supply chain professional with 15 years of experience in engineering, commercial, and managerial roles in oil and gas and energy sectors worldwide, and she is founder of Apex International Consultancy. Dr. Liudmila has worked with international and national companies within the oil and gas and energy industry, where she has helped organizations reach project success in the most efficient manner, increase profitability, reduce the risk, build long-term relationships with partners and suppliers, and streamlined project delivery processes. Dr. Liudmila Prozorova is also an award-winning speaker, iconic women student mentor at New York University in Abu Dhabi. She has higher education in engineering and project management, PhD in engineering, MBA in oil and gas management, and she is a PMP, project management professional certified. Welcome to the talk show, Dr. Liudmila Prozorova. How are you doing today?
Thank you very much, Lalit, and hello, everybody. I'm great today, and I must say I'm joining from Russia, and weather is amazing. So I'm doing actually great today. It's an amazing day, and happy to be here.
Wonderful. We are looking forward to an exciting session with you. We have heard a lot about your project management skills, and you're working with various organizations across the world. So our audience is eager to know about your profile and about your views on project management and procurement. So first of all, Dr. Liudmila, how did you come to work in procurement?
It actually was interesting journey. I started my career in engineering, and I worked quite a long time in various organizations building oil and gas facilities worldwide as an engineer. Then I moved to the project management. And while working as a project manager, I felt that I have gaps in commercial sides. Because I knew the technical side from all of the aspects of like process engineering, like civil, electrical, mechanicals, but commercial knowledge, really, I feel the gap there. And then when opportunity actually appeared to join the procurement team, I decided to take the chance because I thought as a project manager, I should have some experience and knowledge from the commercial side.
Right.
to better understand like procurement processes, because it plays very important role in the project management processes. So that's why I took this opportunity, and I have no regrets in them.
Wonderful. I know in PMI, like PMP, and there is one knowledge area which is procurement. Procurement is a knowledge area when we are getting certified in project management or getting a PMP qualifications. And I agree with you by my experience also. When we are in procurement and supply chain, we might be very busy in the transactional role or in our activities. The most important thing is commercial. We should have a commercial mindset across the organizational, not only the procurement professionals, but across the organization, people should have a commercial mindset. So wonderful. That's a good thing which we are sharing from you. And I also agree with that. And we want,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely agree with you, Lalit, because actually the ultimate goal of any organization, of any business,
Mhm.
actually is to make money. That's why we set up the business. And many people actually, like with day-to-day routines, many people forget about this. So that's why commercial focus is very important for all of the functions and division in the organization.
Agree. Like even when we are toward the triple bottom line, which is profit, people
Yes.
and planet. So if the organization is making profit, then it is eligible, then it is enabling the other two roles, which is people and planet. So the first thing for any organization to survive is profit. And when we are working as a professional in any company, we should have a commercial mindset and know the commercial aspect. So it is a good start, I believe. Uh, Dr. Liudmila, do you want to share any hobbies or any aspects of your personality with us?
Well, I have actually, I wouldn't mind to share. I have many different actually interests,
Uh-huh.
and but first of all, I always encourage the personal growth.
Mhm.
Trying always grow by myself, always learning something new, and I also encourage other people to grow and help them to grow. That's why actually I become their student mentor in
Uh-huh.
New York University
Right.
in Abu Dhabi. So to help people, to help students to grow, not only to get their official degree,
Yeah.
but to grow on the personal level and to have the strength over their life.
Yes.
I like to help people again to expand their horizons, to
Mm-hmm.
try something new, to have, you know, how to call it, to have this hunger
Mm-hmm.
to learn
Right.
during entire life, not only when the education is finished, but
Mm.
to continue learning throughout the life. I love travel. I'm traveling around the world as much as I can, and I
Mm-hmm.
do love history. That's
Wow.
why every time I'm traveling, I'm visiting historical places, and
Mm-hmm.
also I'm trying to apply the knowledge for procurement and project management. I mean, not apply, say like this, to know from historical point of view how the people who build these historical places used project management and procurement skills maybe. So I recorded a couple of videos from, actually was one of them was project management in Asian pyramids. It was
Uh-huh.
quite interesting story how the ancient Egyptians used project management skills to build the pyramids.
Mm.
And I think I'll continue doing the same short videos, just for my interest and to share with the audience.
Yeah, I've
And
seen some of your videos on YouTube and very exciting, like you use your visits to exotic sites and then you try to marry it with the aspects of procurement and supply chain and project management. That is so remarkable. Will you like
yeah,
to tell us which countries you have visited recently?
well, recently we know that we have a lockdown, so
Yeah.
all the travels was restricted. That's why basically it was my first trip after lockdown
Uh-huh.
back to Russia.
Yeah.
But I was traveling, I think, like everywhere. I lived in Malaysia, so I was traveling in Malaysia a lot. So
Mhm.
recently I started exploring South America. very interesting places, and I think I still continue to explore the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, I believe I'll make some more interesting video about this.
All right, we'll be looking forward to seeing that on YouTube and your website. And further, Dr. Liudmila, what has been your experience in different organizations and in different countries you have worked in?
So I have worked in various companies across Europe, Middle East, and Asia.
Mm-hmm.
And they also, it varies, it covers different different companies' profile. So I was working from equipment manufacturers, EPC contractors, to international and national oil companies.
Okay.
Again, throughout technical, commercial, and managerial roles. That's why I have quite extensive experience.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it helped me to see the entire value chain in oil and gas industry from up to down, from say like from valve manufacturers to the end user. So how it really works. And what I have noticed that there are significant potentials which can be uncovered through suppliers collaboration across many tiers, across entire value chain. As well as, I mean, these techniques actually also could help to develop the local suppliers. Like, for example, now we can see there is many more countries, including the UAE itself, trying to develop the local content.
Yeah.
So, but what has happened quite often is that, that what I noticed during my experience, that procurement professionals, but actually not only procurement, all the people organizations do not look further beyond their organizations or even sometimes beyond their departments. And very often working in silos.
Yeah.
And I can say that they're trying to achieve local optima for their department or for their company instead of a global optimum. And if you look at the project and the contractors relationship across various levels, it's some sort of system. The whole value chain is one big system. And achieving the local optima actually doesn't help to reach the optima for entire system, for entire value chain. So this was my observation, honestly, through different roles in organizations, various businesses.
So you are saying, please continue. Yes.
So that's why I was thinking actually in many countries actually it's happening only in one country or is not happening to the one company, for example, is actually a global trend. And I thought is actually is needed to look from a different perspective in all of the value chain, what's happening in the industry.
Okay, I get your perspective. And because you have worked with the manufacturers, you have worked with EPC company, and also you have worked with clients and end users. So you can understand the issues or a problem, challenges and opportunities with each of the groups, whether it's the manufacturer, EPC or a client. And also you were talking about tiers of supply chain or tiers of suppliers with whom we have to work. And I liked when you said it is end to end. Then we are like, your message was not to work in silos. We tend to work in silos because, okay, we want to deliver whatever we are interested in. But if you know the complete value chain, if you know the complete supply chain end to end and suppliers and their suppliers and all the tiers of suppliers and the stakeholders within the company and other channel partners, it will really help to have a broader perspective on the subject. And that is it. And then the value could be created probably. So that was your experience while working in different organizations and in different countries. It enhances the perspective. And like now you're a consultant because you have gone through all this in your wide experience in different countries and while working with different organizations. So, and I understand you are writing a book, Dr. Liudmila.
Yeah,
Could you
that's
share
true.
some insights about your book?
Yeah, I can share some insights. So actually, I've come up with the idea of writing a book
Mm-hmm.
because, as you mentioned before in my bio, I have like some academic experience, some learnings,
Mm-hmm.
and during my academic experience, actually, I have noticed that many project management books addresses the procurement aspect of managing the projects,
Mm-hmm.
while they don't address the buying scope from another company,
Mm-hmm.
which very often, sometimes we are buying the entire scope
Mm-hmm.
for our project.
Yeah.
And in these books, it was addressed is it was if most projects did all their works by themselves,
Mm-hmm.
with their own employees, with their own organizations. And we know that is not the same with many projects. It's not the case for many projects.
Yeah.
So generally, the more complex, the more challenging the project, and the more work to be sent outside of the company for performance.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a lack of coverage of the project procurement management, which is not addressed in majority of project procurement management and project management books.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why in my book, actually, I decided to cover project procurement management aspects.
Okay. So when you say project procurement, is it mainly related to EPC companies, or it could be project for a client company also? Like sometime they are doing procurement for the project in-house, which is rare, but at times it is done. So your book will cover EPC or both for the client project procurement also.
Actually, I'm trying to cover as much as possible, as wide project procurement scope as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So including sometimes if you can, sometimes procurement professional actually for project procurement face the various situations, and sometimes they even have to write the scope because of the, I don't know, like let's say lack of experience within the organizations,
Yeah.
how to perform certain activities. So that's why in my book I'm also trying to give some tips to the procurement professionals to help them to tackle these issues.
Yeah, it is a big challenge, like being in procurement and supply chain for some decades, which I worked. Always when it comes to project, it is challenging. For other materials and services, we get matured over time. But project is unique every time. It is temporary in
Yeah,
nature, it is unique, and it has different type of challenges. And not only that, it is a mostly projects are high spend. They are
exactly.
expensive projects, and absolutely, I think book which you are trying to write, that will really help the industry because you are addressing the core issues, which is scope of work. If you are writing specification and scope of work properly, we'll have less chance of disputes with the contractors, and also less chance of the variations. Now variations are known for projects because of time limit. People try to start the work half baked. Specifications are not clear. Things are not clear still because of the time frame and emergencies. People have to start the work, and then it puts us in an unfavorable situation, and things get complex. But if you got adequate knowledge and education about doing it right, about writing the correct scope of work, specifications, front end, definitely it is going to help. Thank you for giving us insight into your book. And Dr. Liudmila, what is, in your opinion, is the project procurement? Again, continuing the same thing, what we are discussing. So, in your opinion, what would be project procurement?
So when we are talking about various goods, supplies, or services that are key aspects for the project development process, if they're not of good quality or insufficient quality,
Mm-hmm.
your project might not meet a successful end. So for project manager, it becomes necessary to establish and maintain relationship with the vendors in order to run projects smoothly.
Right.
This is where the concept of project procurement management comes. And actually it helps project management in delivering a successful project. Project procurement management is when you have both a process to fill the holes in your resources, and at the same time, the way to manage that process with proper techniques and project management tools. Project procurement is dependent on objective and goals of the project, which actually it supports. And it is also a fundamental part of project management because it is crucial to the success of the project. And that procurement activities are properly planned and executed. So therefore, project procurement planning and strategy development are vital to the implementation and successful outcome of the project. So project procurement is absolutely necessary to be managed well. So if you don't manage it well, if you don't manage it properly in your project, there is a big chance that you can, as a project manager, you can jeopardize very important projects for your organization. And it leads actually to the negative consequences, like if you jeopardize very important project, you can lose very important client. So, and if you lose very important client, again, your reputation can be damaged and you can start losing business. And basically, it also can lead to the company to be completely out of the market. So that's why, from my point of view, is very important to pay proper attention to the project procurement.
Yeah, and also in the project procurement, I think you are dependent on various stakeholders. Your fortune or your destiny is also dependent on the stakeholders, how far they are cooperating, how far they are providing timely inputs so that you don't get time and cost overruns, or if there's a scope changes or quality issues. So there are so many stakeholders like PMP, you yourself said relationship with various stakeholders. Like, in project management professional, they have included a new knowledge area, which is stakeholders management. So absolutely what you say, relationship management by project manager is key to the success of any project procurement.
Absolutely.
And when we talk about relationships, what is your view on supplier-customer relationships?
I encourage the collaboration. When we are working in a project, actually, including our contractors and suppliers, is actually we are all partnering in the project. That's why I encourage collaboration, partnership, and co-creation, let's call it this way. Instead of some companies are taking strategy of like squeezing suppliers as much as possible. So I don't consider the strategy working well in the long term. And what I think that we need to shift our focus from the short-term cost savings towards long-term cost efficiency. And it is possible through unlocking supplier collaboration. To establish strategic relationship with our clients and suppliers in order to identify opportunities for mutual collaboration, to develop more innovative products, and actually encourage to develop more innovative products and services, and to reach mutual benefits as for our client, the same as supplier. So actually this strategy can help us gain the flexibility and to adapt the fast changing and volatile market. And again, also very uncertain as we can see it now. And is also help us to satisfy the customer better. From another side, for example, how many times we can see the evidence of how supplier malperformance negatively affects the entire project performance? Really, it happens more and more often in the market.
Absolutely.
So that's why I see the supply chain competitiveness as a value creator. It helps to increase the capabilities of the supplier and the business in areas of cost management, process improvement, and product to service innovation through entire value chain. Buyers and suppliers actually can work together to develop innovative new products.
Yeah.
So, for example, boosting revenues, and the same to gain profit for both parties.
Yeah.
At the same time, they can take also integrated approach to supply chain optimization, redesigning the processes together to reduce waste, a waste of effort or waste of product and redundant effort. Like also could be a possibility of jointly purchasing raw materials. Okay. Or they can collaborate in forecasting, planning, and capacity management. So thereby improving service level through entire value chain, mitigating risk and strengthening the combined supply chain. Actually, I recently seen the McKinsey survey, which mentioned about like 100 large organizations in multiple sectors, and companies that regularly collaborate with suppliers demonstrated much higher growth, low operating costs, and greater profitability than their industry peers. So I think it's very valuable information which we need to take into consideration. But at the same time, actually, if we look in procurement KPIs, how we measure the procurement efficiency. So would you agree with me that we are performing, and like natural human behavior tends to perform this way, like in line what we are measured against of. So if you measure against something, you tend to perform only towards these measurements. So, and that's why there are many opportunities which actually are missed because of traditional way of measuring procurement achievement through savings. And procurement systems actually are designed to focus on cost rather than strategic issues. Again and again, we can see that large-scale projects running late. We can see catastrophic failures for the some of the projects. Or some of the projects going massively over the budget. So why, and we still have for years and years this fixation of the cost. So why do we have it? Why do procurement executives aspire to go for a cost saving rather than to see the strategic perspective? Like risk management, innovation, supply development, sustainability, corporate social responsibility. They are very, very important. If you get all of these things wrong for the organization, and the reputational risk is so high, and it can impact of the share price of the organization very significantly and market value of the company. But sometimes, again, we have this fixation of the cost savings. But again, cost savings bring at the same time the risk for the company reputation. But let's see the situation. If procurement professional will face the trade-off between these issues, the cost and strategics, so what do you think he or she will choose? I believe that will be choosing something which you are going to be measured against of. And if we are measured as a procurement professional against cost, so the reputational risk actually might be overlooked. And the constant pressure on to bring the cost down has also consequences, which actually may outweigh a lot the savings which are made.
Right.
So that's why metrics used to measure the effectiveness of procurement functions play a very significant role.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to see actually, and maybe we need to reconsider what actually organizations and top management incentivize in procurement
Yeah.
professionals. Also, what I would like to say that also structure of the organizations plays very important part,
Mm-hmm.
because very often we work in functions, and again, as mentioned earlier, that functions tend to work in silos.
Yeah.
Bringing local optima instead of global optima.
Mm-hmm.
That's why all of this issue, procurement measurement and companies' structures,
Yeah.
these are the obstacles which not allowed the procurement organization, procurement professionals, or maybe actually not only procurement, the many people in organizations to work through entire value chain and actually unlock the benefits of the entire value chain.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, coming back to the question, my view of the supplier customer relationship is collaboration.
Yeah, very well said. You have touched so many aspects of these relationships, including like measurement metrics, and not only talking about cost reduction or savings, but concentrating on strategic issues, also taking into account risk management, sustainability, CSR, reputational risk, and working towards boosting revenue by working together and working towards supply chain efficiency and entire value chain. And these were some excellent points which you highlighted. And that is wonderful. But point is, our professionals need to be more educated and they need to have enough time, resources, because project management uh, is itself a different type of game. All the time we are under pressure. So if the procurement professionals have right type of qualifications, education, this will come naturally to them. Like you are saying, it is coming naturally to you. So I
Yep.
believe, so this is a journey which our procurement as well as project management professionals should go through self-learning, through education, through qualifications. I think this will help. You have really uh, highlighted extremely important points which we can help the professionals. And
Absolutely agree with you, Lalit. So that's why actually, as I mentioned before, I took this role for the student mentor
yeah.
to encourage students to have this habit of personal growth, of
Mm-hmm.
constant learning,
Yeah.
because the learning doesn't finish when you finish your university.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that's why all the time I'm trying to encourage people to grow, to learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
Because
See,
these issues, to if you go through the various aspects of the project, so you can see you can help to see the entire picture is not only part of this part of the project. And the people the professionals who actually continuously learning through the different areas, they can bring more value to the organization.
yeah. Absolutely. See, nowadays it is a lifelong learning. Even after 40 years, every day you have to learn new skills because it is not a choice. New terminologies are coming, new technologies are coming, new concepts are coming, which we have to be aware of. During our time, we did not have blockchain or artificial intelligence or robotic process automation. All those things were not there. So all the time we have to think about our development. We have to know about how to optimize processes, how to use the evolving technologies. And now after COVID, it is structure. You were emphasizing on organization structure. So that structure, whether it is working from home or working from office, or is it a hybrid structure, how to work. So these things have come into place. People, processes, technology, and structure. This is the continuous thing or continuous improvement what we all are engaged in, and our professionals should be engaged in this, and it is a lifelong learning, like you said. So great points which you have raised. And now, in your opinion, how procurement can really help achieve project goals? Because you are both project management and procurement professionals, so that helps us to understand the perspectives from both the sides.
Yes, actually. So what I would like to say that, for example, it's quite common today for the organizations, for various, especially for project-based organizations, to procure major items of their projects from other companies, from external companies.
Yeah.
And what's interesting that some projects today buy up to 90% of their project scope from the external organizations. Can you imagine? Up to 90%. And again, this 90% is on the hands of procurement.
Yes.
So, and what's more, often these items, which are bought from other organizations, are the high risk portion of the project.
Right.
And what is actually very interesting, that after project is over, and then management assesses what went wrong with their performance, with their project performance, they often will find that what was the work which was contracted or subcontracted to another company, which impacted adversely their overall project performance. So how we manage the performance of the companies for a project is determines how well or how poorly we do on our own projects.
Right.
And here, if organizations buy the high risk portions with up to 90% of their project scope, and this is on the procurement hands, you can see that role of the procurement professionals in the project-based organizations increase significantly. So that's why it is very important to determine how well the procurement management works on critical relationship to the project management. It's absolutely clear that project manager has ultimate responsibility for the project. For the technical performance, for the cost and schedule. But procurement people buy things for projects following their established procurement. And actually, from procurement point of view, it's quite often that procurement professionals is actually, especially when they're working on the projects, they fail to recognize that procurement is supporting function for the project. And that's why, from my point of view, when we have a project based, it's very important to establish the clarity of the roles between project management and procurement. Because again, procurement following their own guidelines. They have lots of processes and limitations and like processes to follow. Sometimes project management actually don't see this. But from another side, procurement professionals who following their procedures, they don't see them as a supportive function. So first of all, I think that this relationship in the project-based organizations need to be clarified, because in the end, it's project manager who takes all of the responsibility.
Absolutely. So they have to work in unison. Don't you think they have to work in unison? This procurement will be under project manager. Ultimately, project manager is responsible. So I think there is a need of awareness and even collaboration between procurement and project management, because we are a team. We are working for the organization's success and success of the project. So
Is is
don't,
absolutely vital. Is
yeah,
absolutely vital, and is crucial to
mhm,
have this collaboration,
right,
because also again, as I mentioned, the companies' structures, like having matrix organization. I understand for organization is much cheaper,
mhm,
but it doesn't help to deliver our projects, because functional departments such as procurement,
yeah,
they face dual reporting between
mm,
functions and projects, and
absolutely,
sometimes they also have contradicting roles
yes,
between the project and functional reporting. They have contradicting targets, contradicting goals, contradicting measurements.
yes, you are right.
So that's why the procurement professionals put in these trade-offs, which unfortunately don't help us to reach the project goals on time, on budget, and within the scope.
Mhm, mhm. So, Dr. Liudmila, in this context, what project management skills are required by procurement professionals?
Mm, so let's see, for example, the project. Let's first of all see the project as
Ah,
a whole, is not as part.
yes.
So first of all, when we start, mm,
Mhm.
we need to know what's the scope,
Yes.
and procurement professional actually needs to know what's the scope.
Yeah.
And the most importantly, they needs to know also for the project what's not only inside the scope,
Mhm.
but also outside the scope. So what project do and what project actually don't do.
Right. But in this case, they have to be involved earlier on in the project. It is not that
Absolutely.
when everything is cut and dried, you are involved at a later stage and everything becomes urgent. For procurement professional,
Absolutely.
only thing what they receive is everything is urgent. The things are going on for quite some time, and the project professionals have not been involved or they don't have a clue. The concept, what you are saying, in that case, they should be even involved right at front end engineering design, maybe. From that stage itself, if they are involved, that could have merits. If there's an early involvement, they could give some suggestions. They can have an overall idea about the project. That's what you were saying, right?
That's exactly the point, Lalit.
Mhm,
Exactly the point.
mhm,
What's happening when even during the project planning,
mhm.
very often procurement, they don't involved. They have no idea from the beginning what needs to be bought, what's going to be outsourced for the project.
Yeah.
And again, if we are talking about up to 90%
Mhm.
of the value which organization buying from external companies, can you imagine which is the impact it makes on the project, on an entire project performance?
I entirely agree what you're saying, your viewpoint, but my point is who will involve them? Procurement professionals cannot impose themselves on the project manager. In my opinion, as a philosophy of the company, these project managers should involve procurement at early stages, because procurement professionals will have so many diverse competitive priorities. And if we want the success of the procurement project or of any project, because 90% of the things are outsourced and those are of high risk, so procurement professionals will play a crucial role if you are, again, they are involved earlier on, right?
This is exactly my point.
Mm-hmm.
So this needs to be mutual awareness
Yeah,
between project management and procurement
yes.
of the roles and the functions. So that's why at the same time, coming back to the which
Mm-hmm.
are their um, skills that procurement professionals needs to have, from my point of view, is project management skills.
Mm-hmm.
Procurement professionals need to understand how the project works entirely, and at the
Mm-hmm.
same time project managers needs also to realize that in a project, the project procurement takes the majority of the part of the project and is a crucial aspect of the project which needs to be managed very well. That's why it needs to be clarity between these two functions, and again, the collaboration between them.
Very well said. See, sometimes we say it will be good to have this type of collaboration, but I believe nowadays it is extremely important and it is mandatory. Why?
It's not good to have, it's absolutely mandatory, it's absolutely crucial.
Yeah, it is mandatory. Why? Because see, we are under scrutiny. When we are spending, we have got auditing. We nowadays compliance requirements are there, which are mandatory, and GDPR, all those concepts or regulations. So it is all the more important that this collaboration is there. Project manager understands the role of procurement, and procurement understands the overall objectives of project management. So very well said. That triggered many things during the discussion, and it is a very useful concepts which you have highlighted as far as project management and procurement is concerned while working on the project. So Dr. Liudmila, nowadays we are hearing so many things about digital procurement and project management. Although it is, organizations have adopted it to the various degrees depending on the organization objectives or capabilities or resources. So what is in your opinion, is the role of digital transformation in procurement and project management?
Yeah, as you rightly mentioned, Lalit, we have a lot of information, a lot of different technologies coming to their industries, coming to the market. And honestly, I must say, sometimes we're getting lost there.
Mm-hmm.
And what's happening actually, that in procurement, everybody now talking about the Amazonization.
Mm-hmm.
And there is also various process automation facilities like SAP Ariba, SAP S/4HANA, which is coming to the market. Again, various ERP systems, blockchain, which like now people started talking about introducing blockchain in the contracts. This technology, actually, the main purpose is to automate our process, is to make organizations more efficient. This is the main process. But again, what's happening, I think maybe, you know, like is now all of the articles and even some books mentioning that 70% of digital transformation fails. So fails, that means it's not we did not implement the digital technology itself. It's not the point of this. It fails because we don't make the impact with this digital technology actually in our bottom line, which is the purpose to introduce the digital technology.
Yeah.
So, but what I notice actually is happening with organizations which they introduce in digital technology. They introduce the digital technology, but their processes are still remain the same. And with more and more technologies and digital tools we are using to automate our processes, the more and more our current processes become obsolete.
Yes.
There is a big gap between what is currently written in our procedures and what is actually happening actually in organization. So the role of digital technology is to help organizations to become operationally efficient. But what's often organizations forget, that they need to adjust their policies, processes, and procedures. The second important thing I would like to mention actually is a culture. Introduction of digital technology to the organization is a change. And we know that quite often organizations face such phenomena called resistance to change. People tend to work more with something they're familiar with. And something new actually is bring them uncertainty.
Yes.
And the less people, the less employees of organization actually aware of purpose of digital technology and its capabilities and what is made for, the more actually they consider technologies as a threat to their job. So that's why, again, from organizational perspective, I think to take the maximum benefits of the digital transformation and to impact, again, the purpose of this is to impact the bottom line, to become more operationally efficient. The constant communication and also awareness training of employees is required. Of actually that they will not see the digital technology as a threat to their job, and at the same time they can utilize maximum benefits of their processes automation, and they can focus on the different things. Like, for example, for managers, there is always discussion between leadership and management, and what is more important and what is less important. But what we can see now, when we introduce a digital technology for the process automation, it automate, or let's say replace, some of the activities which people actually doing. And if we can see, is mostly like transactional activities, controlling activities. Like in management, we can see that, for example, there are some softwares which on some, I don't know, some digital aids which help us to control the project schedule, budget control, the earned value. All of these things machine can predict. So some artificial intelligence actually can make also some management decisions based on the criteria which we can set up. So if you look at this number, you can take this decision. If you look at that numbers, it's possible to program for artificial intelligence and then also use the machine learning to learn. So this management decision actually can be automated. But what's remain unautomated, and we cannot automate it, is leadership and strategic thinking. That's why I see that when we, in this digital transformation era, trying to be more operationally efficient as organization, I think we need to bring more awareness, first of all, of the capabilities of the digital technology, and focus actually and focus our attention, actually, to bring our attention to the things which cannot be automated and which are actually vital for organizations.
You have highlighted very good points, and I've lived through this digital transformation number of times, from traditional to becoming more digital and getting automation. And you rightly said, like, at times these digital transformation will fail because of various reasons. People don't know the scope of work. They don't know how to change the processes. When the digitization is coming, people might not be ready for the change. So change management aspects also becomes very important. Other thing is, the absolute mission or objective of digitization is to automate the processes and make companies more efficient. And this can be done, as you told, could be through awareness of the staff, awareness of familiarity with the digitization. What are the objectives? What are the deliverables? How it is going to impact the processes? How it is going to bring benefits to the company? And absolutely, there are many challenges, like you discussed, and it could be translated through change through policies, procedures, processes, these procedures, and of course, changing the culture of the organizations. So these are
Absolutely.
the things rightly pointed out by you. A change in policies, processes, procedures, and culture itself of the organization is impacted by these changes. And if it has to bring benefits to the company, so a lot of change management work has to be done, and people have to be taken on board. So digitization, transformation, you have really covered very comprehensively. Dr. Liudmila, we have taken a lot of your time and we got so much good insights. And we want to know about your future plans. What are your future plans? You worked in as a company worker, you worked in corporates, you worked with manufacturers, EPC, clients. Uh, Now you are working as a project or a founder of a consultancy. What are your future plans?
So I was always passionate about processes.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, if we look back during my university time,
Yeah.
I was designing various production plants for
Mm-hmm.
construction materials,
Yeah.
like cement products, producing plants, bricks, painting materials,
Mm-hmm.
asphalt, concrete, and various construction materials. And starting from the raw materials to the end products and distribution channels, actually, where and how you're going to sell your end products. Basically, designing end-to-end production process for the facility.
Mm-hmm.
And I found this actually absolutely interesting for me.
Yeah.
So now, through all my experience, I added there different, again, I gained different knowledge and experience throughout the value chain, technical and commercial and managerial roles in various organizations worldwide. And that's why I think I would like to focus more on operational efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
I consider this subject is very important because the margins for the projects for organizations becoming more and more tight.
Mm-hmm.
And to be more operationally efficient for organizations
Mm-hmm.
is actually is very, very crucial.
Mm-hmm.
So do you know actually
Mm-hmm.
that all the range of problems that organizations have, sometimes related to the external factors,
Mm-hmm.
have actually only few root causes.
Mm-hmm.
Only few, all the range. And very often these root causes actually are internal to organization,
Mm-hmm.
not external.
Right.
And what I believe that during economic downturn, the organizations still can make money, can make profits
Mm-hmm.
if they can become more operationally efficient. And if they will be able to find these key root causes.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that there is a way.
Yeah.
So that's why my future plans actually is to help organizations to find this way, to find these root causes,
Mm-hmm.
internal,
Yeah.
and to make the organizations more operationally efficient.
You are really very clear about your objectives, and it makes a lot of sense to focus on operational efficiency right from the start, from raw materials to the use of the product by the end user and complete value chain. It could be very satisfying as a professional. I can really anticipate that. Now, you have covered so many things and contributed to our project management and procurement body of knowledge. You took us through, I'm going to recap a little bit what you took us through. You said we have to look at the entire supply chain end to end and see the value chain. We have to see the scope of work. And we have to have collaboration with the suppliers. And in fact, our motto should be co-creation. So the approach has to shift from a short-term cost saving to long-term efficiency and value creation. So that is what we have to do. And you also focus, and while working with various stakeholders, with suppliers. We have to see how we can build innovative services and products jointly. And it could be like joint procurement of raw materials, capacity management. It could be like strengthening combined supply chain. And also, you said that we have to have trade-offs between cost and strategy, and these we could have measures, KPIs or metrics for measuring the procurement or project management should be based not only on the cost and savings, but the risk management and sustainability and corporate social responsibility to unlock the benefit of the entire value chain. So that is what you told us. And there should be, when we talk about project management and procurement, there has to be mutual awareness and appreciation of the roles of procurement and project management by each of the professionals who are in project management and uh, procurement. Also for digitization, about the digital transformation, you highlighted that the objective is for automating the processes and making companies more efficient. And there are various challenges, and sometimes the digital transformation fails because people like to stick to old processes and old ways of doing things. So if we are embarking upon digital transformation, it needs change management. It needs awareness of the people, and there has to be communication and awareness training, training for the stakeholders. Also, changes in policies, processes, procedures, and above all, the culture, the way we are doing things. And also, you said for your future planning, you were emphasizing how there are many things which we can do internally within the organization to create more value, and do by seeing what are the root cause analysis, and doing the root cause analysis, uh, we can focus on operational efficiency. You really emphasized on operational efficiency. It was a wonderful session. We learned quite a lot, and I am sure our audience will appreciate this. As a parting comment or as a final message, if you got anything, Dr. Liudmila?
I would like actually the audience to continue develop themselves,
Mm-hmm.
to have like constant development, to have that hunger for development.
Mm-hmm.
And we are living now in a really, really fast changing environment. And I also encourage everyone to anticipate the change, to move with the change,
Mm-hmm.
not to, again, is a big aspect of the change management.
Yeah.
And the more faster we adapt for the change, the more early we can anticipate the change,
Mm-hmm.
the more early we can take advantage of it. And again, constant development and knowledge can help us to take even big advantage of this.
Thank you very much for your enlightening message. And Dr. Liudmila Prozorova, we are thankful for the time and meaningful and valuable insights which you have provided to our audience. And here are the contact details, which if anybody wants to contact Dr. Liudmila, the contact details are on the screen. You can see, and there's a LinkedIn profile as well, and email. You can contact Dr. Liudmila if you need any further interaction with her, or any tips or guidance on project management or procurement. Thank you, audience, for your constant support and encouragement for this CIPS MENA Procurement Master Talks. This was the 15th podcast in the series, and you can always access this on online. There's all the 15 podcasts you can access online. You can see the show notes on the post. The current post, and also you can have this in CIPS MENA webinars on cips.org website. Thank you very much for your time and attention.